Hey, welcome to the latest video blog. I apologize for not doing one in a while. I was away all last week in New York for the auto show, and I got food poisoning. That was nasty. I had a day of sightseeing in New York that was blown out of the water because I spent my whole day in the hotel room being sick. So it was not the best trip. But anyway, back now, ready to go. What's coming up here? We have some car reviews still to come, the Mazda CX-5. I'll be doing that later this week. I'm going to do a review on my own car, the Audi A7. People have been asking me to do that, and I'll get around to that. Also heading off to Shanghai for the auto show there, and then going to Spain to do an off-road excursion with the Touareg. So that's all still to come. But thanks to everybody that's been sending in questions. And how do you get in? Well, probably the easiest way. Most people are getting through at my Facebook page, which is Motormouth Canada. You can leave a longer form question there. Make sure you like Motormouth Canada, and you'll get all of this stuff in your feed. And trying to hit 1,000 Twitter followers. How hard is it to get 1,000 followers on Twitter? Try, if you can, to head over there, and that's Driving with Zack, and follow along at Twitter. All right, let's get into the questions. Hey Zack, this comes from Nicholas. It says, how do car dealers usually make money on lease returns? Charge you for cracked windshields, etc. There's another one on lease returns and leases in just a second, so we'll get to that. All right, I have done work in the past for leasebusters.com. Leasebusters is a great way if you have a lease and you want to get out of a lease early. Basically, you sign the contract over to somebody else, and that's how you do it. When the end of lease comes, you sign a lease and you sign an agreement saying at the end of this 3 or 4 year term, you will give the car back at the end. Now, there always is a disclaimer in there. If things are outside of regular wear and tear, then you have to pay extra. For example, a cracked windshield, curved wheels, scraped bumper, stains in the carpet, ripped seats, those sorts of things. Now, think of it this way. If you had a car for sale and you wanted to put it on Craigslist or Kijiji and you wanted to sell it, and it had a cracked windshield, curved wheels, scraped bumper, and stains in the seats, you would have to charge less to sell that car. Well, the person that owns the car is the finance arm of the car company. We'll pick Honda Canada Finance. They own the car, and they expect when the car comes back, they're not going to have to refurbish all of those things to get it ready for sale. So they don't want to discount the price of the vehicle. They've had a contract with you saying they have a guaranteed value. So the best thing to do to avoid all of those things is to make sure you don't take a car back at the end of the lease with cracked windshields and things. So that's one thing. The next one comes from James Chu. He says, I have a question about leasing. I have a current lease that's due in September 2015, so in a few months from now, the car is going to go back for that agreed amount, and if there's any damage, you have to make that up. All the other dealerships, besides my current dealer, is willing to buy out my lease, so I could get into a new lease with their vehicle. Can you share some tips in lease negotiating, do's and don'ts? That's from James in Toronto. All right, you don't own the car. The finance arm of the company owns the car. Honda Finance, Toyota Finance, Volkswagen Finance, whoever it is. Now, they expect that you to pay the full 3 or 4 years of the lease and either buy the car out at the end for that pre-arranged amount or to just hand the keys back. That's your choice. Now, a lot of car companies will give you incentives to roll your lease into a new vehicle early. So what they'll say is, we're going to waive the last 5-6 months of your lease, just so long as you come back and get another one of our cars. BMW and Mercedes, the premium brands, are really good at this. They say, hey, you know what, Zach, you've got 4 or 5 months left in your BMW or Audi or Mercedes, whatever it is. If you come in and get a new one, we'll waive those lease payments. So all they're basically doing is discounting a product to get you into a new one, to keep you in their family. So that's one thing you can do. So if he's got one dealership that's saying they're not willing to move up his lease, then go to another one. You don't have the lease with that dealership. You have the lease with the car company. So if somebody is willing to roll your lease forward by a few months and you want to get back into that same product again, go for it. You can also wait until the end of the lease and give it back. Now, here's one thing in this particular instance. The lease is due in September 2015. Now, what happens in September of every year? That's when the new models start to show up. So if you want to get a 2016 model, you might be better served to wait until September to get that lease. Any other things you can do? You can use a system like leasebusters.com to get out of your lease early or get out of your lease altogether. And yeah, go in there and negotiate with them and say, listen, this car has particularly low kilometers. I've paid for 24,000 kilometers a year, but I've only used 10. You can say to them, listen, there's some equity in this car. Can you give me a deal, better deal on the next one? This is an interesting question and a real puzzle for a lot of people. Travis Powell says, I have a question regarding the Subaru WRX and BRZ test drives. I recently visited 3 dealerships in Vancouver and they all denied me the ability to test drive the WRX, each stating they do not allow WRX and BRZ test drives because they're sports cars. Furthermore, one dealership wouldn't even let me try out the head unit, claiming it drains the battery of the vehicles, so they disconnected all of the batteries on all the vehicles in the showrooms. That's just stupid to me. There's supposedly a 6-month wait list for a WRX, and I'm in my mid-20s. I think here's the problem. I find it hard to believe that someone would be willing to spend $40,000 to $45,000 if they can't take it for a 10-minute test drive. I agree with that. I was a serious buyer with money ready to put down on the table on one of the WRXs they had on the lot. Instead, I was let down with poor service and, quite frankly, arrogance that left a stale taste in my mouth towards Subaru. Have you heard any of this before? Is this normal practice when a vehicle is in high demand? Is it because of my age? Thanks for your opinion. Travis Powell, absolutely, I think it's because of your age. You go in there, a guy in your mid-20s looking at a $40,000 car, they're probably thinking, the guy's just kicking the tires, he's not serious. If you want to take a high-performance car for a test drive. Now, it's not like the WRX is that rare that you can't get one. If it was a super rare, like a Corvette Z06 or something like that, then the dealer's probably not going to let you take it for a test drive. But come on, it's a WRX. It's not that spectacular. What you should do is say, I'm interested in buying a WRX. I am going to give you $1,000 deposit on my credit card that you write down on the contract is fully refundable, and you say, I am going to order the car. Once again, you're not obliged to take it. It's the fully refundable deposit. I will give you $1,000 deposit. I will order a car, and I will do all of that provided you let me take one for a test drive. And that's what you really need to do. You, as a 20-year-old looking to buy a hot 4-door import car, you need to show them that you're serious and not just a 20-year-old punk coming in off the street saying, I want to drive a car. So show them that you're serious. Say, what is it going to take for me to get a test drive in this car? I'll give you a deposit. I will order a car. I'll get the financing pre-approved and all those kinds of things. And I will order this car only if you let me take it for a test drive. If they don't let you take it for a test drive then, and the car comes in, you say, I will buy this car if you let me take one for a test drive. If they still don't let you take one for a test drive, then it's up to you whether you want to buy the car or not. I think it's absolute insanity that somebody would buy a car without driving it. But we're in that situation now where car dealerships have some very rare models, but the good ones should have a car for you to test drive. I think not having a WRX is really silly. So show that you're serious. Give them a deposit. Get something in writing, and trust me, you'll probably get the keys. All right, that's all the time we have for this video blog. I'm trying to make them a little bit shorter. I had a meeting with them at YouTube and Google and talked about the length of my videos, and they're saying shorter typically is better. So what I'm going to do is I'll do shorter ones and hopefully do them more often. Once again, Motormouth Canada is my Facebook page. It's probably the best way to send a message, and I want to get 1,000 followers on Twitter. How hard can it be? Driving with Zack is the Twitter handle, and make sure it happens. We're close. That's all the time I have. Talk to you later. Bye now.